Hey everyone, as always, Dylan Miller Prospect, and welcome to another Tuesday Night Gold Panning Fever, episode number 192, where we're going to be going through a bag of Paydirt from Gold Baron Paydirt. Let me catch up on chat. I did see Gold Baron had come in the room and hung up his coat, but let's see who else is here. Say hi to everyone, and we'll start doing some panning and things like that. Ortiz, thank you for being here and being a mod. Wheeze and Geezer. PA Patriot, thank you for being mods as well. Humble Stacker, how's it going? Ozark Buck, how are you, my buddy? You don't have to answer. I know once the show starts, you can't talk on here, but thank you for joining us. Troubled One, Joe Haynes, thank you for joining us. Shane Prothero, that's awesome. I did email you back. Great to hear that the post office didn't lose a package. It's always good news. And PA, how you doing, brother? Are you out anywhere or are you back home? Stephen LeBlanc, how's it going? Thank you for joining the show. Let me move to live chat so I can keep up with it. What's up, Mike from the Gold Vlog? Do you not have a show tonight, do you? Is it just yesterday and tomorrow on whatnot? Dina Little Hell, how's it going? SRIP63, Joey Brown, Robert Bemethel, Jason G, how's it going? I think I have everyone. John Gear, how's it going? I think I have everyone. If not, if I miss you, just say something and I'll catch up. Yeah. I'm home? All right. Well, there you go, brother. Enjoy your home and then you go get some more gold. Yeah, no show tonight. I know you're costing me money, Mike. You're really costing me money. Yesterday, I was like, oh. So all weekend it was showing that, this is Mike from the Gold Nuggets for Sale. I was looking on whatnot, and it was showing that because I was trying to see if you were going to have a show on Tuesday, and because I thought you had said that you were going to make it an hour earlier, and I was like, oh, and it showed up that you only had a show on Monday and Wednesday, but they were coming on at 11 o'clock at night. So I was like, well, that's pretty late for me, but at least I'll be able to catch a little bit of it. And then, so I was like, well, let me go double check, and then it just swapped. And it was like, oh, it's going to be at 6. And this was like at 5 o'clock yesterday. So I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to wait on whatnot. I ended up spending like $70 on coins that I don't need from somebody else's store. I was like, oh, I mean, there were some French coins, and I kind of collect a few little French things because that's where my family is from. But I was like, dang it, Mike, you're costing me money, and it's not even on Mike. I was like, I don't mind spending money if it's on gold, and these weren't gold either. So there were just two things I wanted to get for my kids' boxes. So, and then I had to go watch a movie with my kids, so I didn't even get to catch your show because I really wanted to bid on that bag of Paydirt, but I'm sure more will come. All right, let me pop out chat so I can see chat while I'm chatting. There we go. Get everything set up. Well, that's what I thought too. That's what I really thought that. I was like, well, maybe he's just trying something new. I was like, or maybe, originally I thought maybe it wasn't you. I thought it was because I knew you had said that your assistants were going to start doing some of the shows when you're not going to be in town and stuff. And I was like, well, maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's, he's got, somebody else doing the show and that was more convenient time for them. So thank you very much, Jason. Thank you very much. You got to keep them secret dues, brother. I'm going to kick you off. But thank you very much. I almost wore my shirt today, but then I was like, it's like I didn't see Jason last week. And, that shirt is a small extra large. So it's a little tight on me. So, but thank you very much, brother. Goldbaron. Yeah, I try to join his shows just because I like the information. You get all the good information from watching Mike's show. So I need to take my credit card that's on there off and put one that I've got one that my son has use of that's only got like a $500 limit. I need to put that one on whatnot so I can't ever do any major damage. Because he had one up there yesterday. I think it was a $1,700 one yesterday. I was like, oh, I just want to bid on this so bad. Like I'll be paying for it and it won't be worth it once I pay it off in 2 or 3 years, but all right, let me see who else is in this show. Sean McLeland, thank you for joining the show. Gregory Whittleton, Mike from the Gold Vlog, of course. Thank you very much for being here. I appreciate it. Make sure I don't miss anybody. Mega Silver Stacker, how's it going? Thank you for joining the show. Jason, of course, thank you for joining the show. I appreciate it, brother. Teo, thank you for joining the show. Appreciate it. Chasing Cheddar with Curtis. How's it going? Thank you for joining the show. Just got some, from New Guinea. Yep. See, I only collect, so I'm very, I will actually, let me see if I can show you. So tonight I will give everyone a hint just in case. So tonight we are doing a 1 gram bag of Paydirt from Gold Baron, but it is also this Saturday is going to be my gold guessing contest. So I have a nugget that's I'm going to pour the Gold Baron into, but originally I was going to use this nugget here. I'll just show everyone because I have very small nugget collection for my kids. But they're all, I don't know if I can hold it and show you, but they're all heart-shaped. I only collect heart-shaped gold for my kids because I love my kids. And, you know, I love gold and I love my kids. And the only thing that would make me spend money besides on my kids is if it was gold-shaped. You know, I don't know if you want to see it in there. But it's gold shaped in the shape of a heart. Wrapped around quartz, and this is my favorite piece. And this was originally going to be the gold guessing, but I was too scared to put it in the pan. I was like, I'm too scared that it'll bend or dent or which it won't. But so I only collect. So Mike, let me know when you're gonna have some gold up that's heart shaped. I did see the one yesterday, but it was too small. It was like that little bitty. I think it was a ½ gram for 2 pieces, and one of them was heart shaped, but. That's why I usually buy extra large. Well, yeah, I only buy extra large though because I'm trying to convince myself that one of these days I'm gonna lose weight. So, yeah. Richard Dow, how's it going? Thank you for joining the show. I'll remember to look for the hearts. Yeah, so it's only when I will tell y'all. So I actually need to contact the owner. So I will tell you a story about a heart-shaped. And so they're really rare. I mean, I look around I search everyone's site probably once every couple months to see if anyone has one. And there was a nice heart-shaped nugget. It had kind of a crack through it. And I thought that was really cool. It was kind of like a broken heart. It looked like, the little heart necklaces that break apart and each one wears one. So it was one like that. And it was pretty pricey. It was like $400 something, $500, somewhere like $500. So I decided to buy it. I had paid off a credit card. So I was like, I'll buy it, put it on a credit card. I had some stuff I could pay it off sooner. So it wasn't going to cost, it was, a no interest card. So I was like, I can pay it off before I get any interest on it. So I buy it. Well, I'm waiting on the package. Package is supposed to be on like a Tuesday or something to show up. And I was running errands. I get home, check United States Postal Service delivery. It says it was signed for and delivered. I'm like, well, I wasn't home, so I didn't sign for it. So I go look at my mailbox. It's not there. I think, okay, maybe this is a mistake. Doesn't show up the next day. I go to the post office. So it's supposed to show up on I think it was a Tuesday. I go to the post office on Wednesday. I said, look, I didn't get the package. I didn't sign for it. What's the deal? $500 package. They go and geotrack it because they could geotrack where the signature was. Was not even within 3 blocks of my house when it was geosigned for. So I say, okay, well, where's the package? Call the postman and ask him. And they say, well, we can't because he called in sick today. And I said, okay. And they said, they took down my number. They said they would call me in a couple of days, let me know how it goes. They didn't call me. I go the following Tuesday to the post office. I'm like, okay, where's my package? Where's this guy? They say, well, he has called in sick every single day since that package went missing. I said, okay, well, where's my package? So they say, well, they're going to send the postman the regular. By the way, this was a temporary postman. It was not my regular postman. They say, we're going to send the regular guy to the address that he supposedly delivered it to and make them turn it over. So they go there, week turns up, still nothing. So I go back to the post office. This is week 3 now, gold nugget missing. I tell them, look, what's happening? Post guy has still called in sick every day for 2 weeks. I said, well, don't y'all think that's a little suspicious? The people that they say signed for the package say they didn't sign for it. I say, well, why would them? I tell them it's a gold nugget. Anyone opens a package is not going to return it. It's a gold nugget. So unfortunately, then they still say nothing. I ended up having to call the postal inspector and have them reported it as the post office stealing it. Sure enough, the next day, I get a package in my post office, in my mailbox, an open package that's just stuffed in my mailbox. And guess what's in there? My gold nugget. I was like, these people, they stole my nugget and then tried to cover for the postman. So I don't know who that postal guy was that they were trying to cover for, but just absolutely horrible. But at least I got it, so I'm not upset. Life of a Gold Prospector, how's it going? Thanks for joining the show. I appreciate it. I'm going to catch up on chat. So it was absolutely horrible, you know. And the worst part about it is the seller didn't insure it. It showed up because it was signed for. So this is the worst deal. The seller didn't insure it, which is kind of goofy, you know. I guess to them it wasn't a big risk, you know. But because it was showed as delivered, I couldn't even file a credit card chargeback because I paid with a credit card through PayPal. So I couldn't do a chargeback for either one because it was shown as delivered. And I was even telling the post office, it's like, I don't care if the guy stole my nugget. If that's what it was, just change to undeliverable. I'm like, if you just change it to undelivered, I can get my money back. But I'm like, right now, I'm out the money, I'm out the nugget, and you're protecting a guy. So just absolutely horrible. But it did show up. It was added to my kids' collection. So I probably won't look for another heart nugget for a while. And I think next time, I'm going to have to get a P.O. box or something. I told my daughter, either that or I'm going to have to start sending packages to my daughter's house. I don't know. They just seem to hate me here and my gold. My mail lady doesn't steal. She just sends my packages to Alaska. David Danduran, thank you very much, brother. Thank you very much. Yeah, well, see, my regular postman doesn't. My regular postman knows me. He knows if I get something to sign for and I'm not there, he will bring my package the next day and have me sign for it. My regular postman is great. Unfortunately, he's kind of old. He's like me. He's been walking the beat for a long time. So he's off on Monday. So if a package is showing up Monday, I pretty much never go anywhere. I just stand by my door waiting for mail, especially if I know I have gold coming. And then he usually, about every 2 weeks, he takes an extra day off. So yeah, so I need to get a P.O. box and start sending stuff. The Humble Stacker. Yeah, see, and like I said, I've been talking about this, complaining about this for weeks and weeks and weeks now, for like at least the last 6 months. I get packages. I order from Amazon for my son a lot. His clothing. I order from Depop and all these other places for my son to have clothes because, he's a teenager. He likes lots of clothes. I order random stuff from Amazon for, the website and stuff like that. New cameras, new lights all the time. I mean, I just had to replace one of my cameras. Microphones, microphone covers, what? I order lots of stuff, little bitty things. Like yesterday I had a package coming that was just envelopes from Amazon. But so I get a package at least once a day. None of them are ever delayed. Not a single one is ever delayed more than one day. Sometimes it'll say, it's supposed to be here Tuesday, I'll show up Wednesday, unless it's gold. If the package is gold, it is always at least a few days late. Perfect example, I got a bag of Paydirt from Whatnot from GNS. The next day I ordered another bag from GNS. That one showed up within 3 days. The other one was 2 days late. I don't know what it is, but something about, I think they're scanning packages. I think they're rerouting packages, scanning them, let everyone know. They're trying to track who's got all the gold. Yeah, I'm so happy I got the nugget. Like I said, I would have been happy if I lost the nugget, if I would have got my money back, but it was just, the way it was ending was a lose-lose for me, and I can't afford to lose-lose. So, but at least I got the nugget. And then unfortunately, right after that, my daughter bought a house, so now she's said, oh, you got some money on your credit card. Come over to my house, fix this stuff. 308 Prospecting, how's it going? Thank you for joining the show. Appreciate it. So what's Gold Spot today? 106. Gold Spot's been pretty steady for this last week. I don't know what's going on. It hasn't been really jumping or doing anything crazy. It's been settled down for about the last 2 weeks. Probably need to get a P.O. box. I'm cheap. I hate to spend money on something I shouldn't have to. To me, if, post office was just honest and reliable and worked the way they should work, I shouldn't have to be paying an extra $20 a month. Packages not open from time to time for my cousins. I think they're looking for drug smugglers. I think it's just, like I said, ever since COVID absolutely ruined so much of this country. And one of the things it really ruined was the post office. The post office will probably never recover from COVID. That was just such a disaster for them. If at any time the military should have been called up, and sent to post offices during COVID to help do mail. you know. Yeah, because like I was telling somebody the other day, I mailed out a package. Who was it? One of my when I did the my Miracle Elixir Paydirt. So when I did my Miracle Elixir Paydirt, one of the people that bought one said that it looked like it was coming back to me. But one of the things that is really popular around me, so I have an Evansville hub and I have an Indianapolis hub. And so normally if I ship a package, it goes straight to the Indianapolis hub because it doesn't need to be routed here. And that's what the Evansville hub is for. It'll go to Indianapolis, then it'll go to whatever hub nearest to where it's got to go. Well, for whatever reason, these two hubs love to just send stuff back and forth. So it went to the Indianapolis hub, then it went to the Evansville hub, then it went to the Indianapolis hub, then it went back to the Evansville hub. And that's when he emailed me. He's like, oh, I think it's coming back to you. And I was like, no, they're just playing back and forth these, you know. Then it went to Evansville, then it went to, Indianapolis, then it went to him and he got it. So it's just crazy around here, you know. Yeah, the gold spot is way overinflated, but, you know, there's nothing we could do about it. I mean, that's the only good thing is, you know, if you're like, you know, if you like gold spot going up, it makes this hobby a lot more expensive, but it doesn't look like gold's going down anytime. So it's still a safe bet. You know, when I started this channel 8 years ago and gold was $35 a gram, it was a safe bet back then because you knew gold was going to go up. If you bought a bag and you saved the gold, it was going to go up. Same thing now. So even like I was telling a buddy of mine who was really a huge fan of Felix Paydirt. And I told him 10 years ago when we and him first started talking, we first became friends, he was buying Felix Paydirt and getting a 50% ROI. Gold was $40 a gram at the time. Gold is worth 106. So those 50% are actually him making money because he still has that gold. He's been hoarding that gold ever since. So he's actually at 100% ROI now with all those bags from Felix. So well, I appreciate it, Ortiz. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. I always appreciate you when you're here, brother. Listening in the background. So, all right. So tonight, again, we're going to be panning Gold Band Paydirt. This is just one of his regular full gram bags. And also, if you're a Patreon member, make sure you check out. There will be a nugget in there that will be for the gold guessing contest. That video will come out Saturday. Also, in case you haven't noticed, I know a lot of Patreon members don't get the notifications. They sign out to not get spam from Patreon. But for this entire month now, and this will continue forever, from Monday through Friday now, on every single day, Monday through Friday on Patreon, I post a daily ROI where I get top 10 sellers and maybe a couple randoms that I'll throw there and tell you what the ROI is on a 1 gram bag of Paydirt. So you can find the absolute best ROI each day by being a Patreon member. We had one the other day that sold out pretty quick by one of our members here, Brad, who had 100% ROI because he hadn't updated his prices. So, you know, if you want to check out, if you're a Patreon member and you want to check out and make sure you check every day, I'm trying to put them up around 11 and 12 in the morning. So you can start checking on Patreon, start looking in daily to see if there's anything new on the daily ROIs. I'm trying to catch those sellers who forget to update their prices or, you know, something so people can get some good ROIs. Or either that or gold spot jumping pretty high. So something to check out if you're already a Patreon member. And if you're already a Patreon member, again, listen for the nugget later. You can check it out. So, but we're going to start panning. Today is a kids' day on Tuesday, so that means I'm going to have a shorter show. The show tonight will have to end around 7:30 because I have my kids and I've got to go pick up my son because he's at the skate park. You know, but anyone else? Jeffrey Button, thank you for joining the show. Appreciate it. Trying to make sure I say hi to everybody. Steven Stark. So I think I've said hi to everyone. And thank you all for being here tonight. I appreciate it. You're not torn between watching me or spending your money on a mic on whatnot. You can do that tomorrow, by the way. Just in case, if you want to catch some, watch the Whatnot show tomorrow for the mic. There, you get $15 to spend on Whatnot if you go over there and watch Gold Sal, which is Mike's channel. So, but all right, let's move the camera around. We're gonna put some gloves on, move all the stuff, and we're gonna go through a bag of Gold Baron. And by the way, we'll talk about Gold Baron's Iron Death bag while we're panning this one. So we'll talk about that one in a second. So let me just shrink down the ugly mug, move some stuff around. And we're going to start doing some panning. So there you go. Let's set some stuff up. Look at my nice, pretty pan, my unseasoned pan. All right. And also, oh, did I bring it? Yes, I did. So for tonight, we do have a hidden link tonight. Oh, I am running out of room over here. I got some extra pans over here tonight. But tonight we are going to be doing a Miller Prospecting gold plated dime for the hidden video. I have something planned to do with these in the future where they will be secret envelopes where you'll either get a gold plated dime or a gold piece of gold. So, but I just didn't have time to do it this week. Like I said, my daughter just bought a new house and I've spent more time at her house than I have at my house. So, you know, you think when you buy a new house, that means there's nothing to be done there. But nope, there's always stuff to be done. So luckily it's been raining, so I haven't had to cut her grass. But it stopped raining today, so tomorrow I'll be cutting my grass and maybe her grass, who knows. Let me open up chat. Oh yeah, see, I am not ready. Where is chat? There we go. I forget to update prices all the time. Yeah, gold has been pretty steady for the last 2 weeks. So it hasn't really been, it's just, you try to get those ones. And it's not like, I know you and Mike Vendetta and Gold Baron all keep your prices pretty, you keep track of that stuff. But you never know. There's some sellers, like, Bill's Dirt that might not look at their website for a week or two. And if gold jumps up to, $111 tomorrow, you can end up getting some really good ROIs. Some sellers don't update as often or check that often. Doesn't 100% mean they'll honor the price, because, some sellers will say, oh, we were out of stock, so sorry, things like that. But, Hey, Adventure Time Prospecting, how's it going? Thank you for joining the show. That's one of my kids' favorite TV shows was Adventure Time anime cartoon. We actually have it on our list to one day when we're all older and we do get-togethers is just to watch old Adventure Time shows. To rewatch the series. All right, I am trying to find my live show on my tablet so I can keep up with chat. Usually I have it set up, and just today I wasn't. All right, there we go. Mentally Corrupted, what's up, brother? Adam Weiss, how's it going? 308 Prospecting, how's it going? David Danderan. Oh, and by the way, I don't know if he's here, but Aaron Mack, who was my winner from my last big that won the silver bar, I still don't have. If you're here just listening in, I need your address. I need you to email me at Dylan@MillerProspecting. Hopefully I'll remember to say it a few times, but Aaron Mack, I need your address so I can mail you up that silver bar. George Ann, thank you for joining the show. Appreciate it. All right. My Paydirt and my little vial that is in all the Gold Baron bags. Which I just end up, I take those, and I really hate doing it, but I always just throw those vials away. So, there we go. Here's the material. This is what we're going to be panning out today. And there is 1 gram of gold. This was a 1 gram bag. I'm not going to do an ROI on it because I had to order it just because I kind of got in a rush and forgot about Secret Shopper stuff. So there's no ROI in this Paydirt, but there will be a nugget for the nugget guessing contest that we'll post on Saturday. But we'll show it to you tonight. So if you're a Patreon member and you watch the live shows, you get a little bit of an advantage getting to see the nugget a little bit early, seeing it in a pan and stuff like that. So and now that we got this, we'll start talking about my last video. In case you didn't watch it, I went through Gold Baron does an Iron Death Paydirt, which is supposed to be an extremely hard and difficult Paydirt to go through. And I don't want anyone to get me wrong. I when I edited the video, I thought I was a little harsh on the owner of Gold Baron Paydirt because but I wasn't trying to be harsh. I was just trying to say it was a difficult Paydirt. It is a hard Paydirt. The Iron Death is a hard Paydirt. It's just about the same level of difficulty as, say, the Double X from the Double Diamond from Gold Nugget Sales. It just has a really, really scary description. And there's nothing wrong with that. Just the description. So the way I thought of it, I didn't say it in the video, was that the way I thought of it was one of the sellers that has the absolute best descriptions that make you think you're going to find the motherlode of gold is Golden Paydirt. Now, obviously, they're a bad seller and crooked, but they have one of the better descriptions for convincing people that if you buy their Paydirt, you might find a 1 ounce nugget. You might find, the motherlode and all this. And it's the same thing with this Gold Baron bag. When you read that description, if anyone wants to go to, maybe one of my mods will drop the link to Gold Baron's Iron Death in the chat. If you want to go read his description, it's an amazing description. I absolutely love the description. It's probably the best description I've ever read for a hard bag of Paydirt. It was really made you think, man, should I pan this out? It really makes you think, like I'm going to have a hard time panning this out. And unfortunately, it had some flaws in it. It had some flaws, and I talked to Chris about it and I told him what I thought. And I said it in the video, the fact that all the black sands are magnetized, it makes it super easy where you could really cheat and, make it super avoid that. If it was just black sands, that bag, just changing it from magnetite to hematite would double the difficulty just from that little bitty change. So you just can't use a magnet. And a lot of times now, I always say I don't use a magnet, and I usually don't. But in honesty, I do sometimes use a magnet if, like, let's say I have like this much gold at the top of my pan. I might run a magnet across it just to see if there's, 1 or 2 pieces of black sands that are just in there that I didn't see or I don't see because there's a pile of gold. So I might run a little magnet over just to double check and make sure all my gold is as clean as possible before I weigh it up. But, you wouldn't even be able to do that if it was just hematite as opposed to magnetite. So I use magnets. There's nothing wrong with it. I just don't do it because, I really love panning and, I don't get to pan every single day. Usually the only time I pan is I pan when I shoot a video, and then probably I'll keep a bag on the side that I'm constantly panning, maybe one day a week, where if I have to come down to my basement to do laundry or something, I'll say, well, let me spend an hour panning this Paydirt out and getting some gold or something. Something somebody else sent me that's just different. So I want my Paydirt to last. I don't want to just get the results. I don't want to just, okay, here's how much gold was in this bag. I want to enjoy the panning and spend the 2 hours, 3 hours panning it out and then repanning it and stuff like that. So, Refotress, how's it going? Thank you for joining the show. Alaskan Assassin. I almost wore your shirt today, Alaskan, but then I was like, I just decided to wear the Miller Prospecting one. So the bag was definitely a hard bag of Paydirt. So I was kind of worried that people would, because I do know people skip through my videos. They watch the very beginning, then they watch the very end. And during the results part where I show you me weighing up the Paydirt, I did say it was a hard bag of Paydirt. Even for an experienced, panner, it's a hard bag of Paydirt. Like, it was not an easy bag of Paydirt. It was kind of lower, I think, on my scale. So on my scale, I think for an expert panner for being hard is, I want to say it's 15, a score of 15 and up. Maybe it's 13 or something. And it just made that. It made like a 14 out of 13 or something. So it wasn't the hardest Paydirt ever. But it was definitely a hard bag of Paydirt. Like, it would have gotten an extra 2 points if it had an extra pound of material in it. A 3-pound bag is harder than a 1-pound bag. So no, I did not go back through it. Like I said, it's sitting in a bucket because I put it on the side because I didn't want to mix it with my Tuesday tailings because it's got so much iron in it. I don't want to rust somebody's sink up or do something, So I said, no, I just wanted to see how much I got out of it in one go. Like I said, I don't know how much gold was in there. One of our beta testers encouraged me to increase difficulty. Yeah, like I said, it doesn't take that much to make Paydirt more difficult. And like I said, it's a really difficult bag of Paydirt. It was just, it's kind of like, think of it this way. The way I think about it when I do my reviews with things like that, or like a hard bag of Paydirt, I think of it myself as, say, a game tester. If I was testing a video game, you don't test 90% of the time that game testers, they're not testing to see if the game functions. They're testing to see what's broken and how people could cheat. That's what game testers are really there for. They're not there to see, oh, is this game fun? They don't care. They're making the game anyway. They're just doing it to see if there's a way to cheat or get around it or make it easier. So that's why I panned it one time to see how difficult it was. And then, if I wanted to, I did check, like I said, for magnetite to see how possible it would be to make it super easy. And, using a magnet just, made it a lot easier. And just also, like I did tell him, like one of the reasons I really like, because somebody asked me in one of the comments if I thought it was harder than the double black diamond from GNS. And I said they were probably about the same difficulty. The double GNS isn't as much material, but it has tungsten in it. And the tungsten doesn't move. See, that's one of the things is the hardest way, the thing that makes Paydirt the hardest to get gold out of, in my opinion anyway, is always something that is immovable. Black sands will move quicker than gold. I mean, they are heavy, but they're not as heavy as gold, so they'll move. Iron will move. Other things will move. Blondes will move. It's just the combination. Tungsten makes it really hard. Silver makes it hard, just because they're not going to move as soon as something else. So the shapes, one of the reasons that pyrite is so hard is just because of the shape of it. It tends to have a lot more flat surfaces on it. It's more, like cubic shape. So it makes it harder to roll off the pan or move off the pan. So... And I always found that mica, to me, mica is always one of the ones that's really, really the eye catcher. Mica will be the one to me. For whatever reason, pyrite just, if I see pyrite next to gold, I'm never confused. I can see the difference between gold and pyrite. But mica, man, that stuff just blinging everywhere. You think mica, typically you'd say no if it's big, but crushed mica, you'll think it's flour gold. Oh, that one always is the one where you have to go real slow and steady and look at. So, trying to catch up on chat. Sorry, mica. Yeah. There used to be a seller out of Alaska. They've been closed for a while, but they used to sell these bags of Paydirt. They were little bitty. They were just came in these little bitty silver bags. I think they were like $25 or $30. Really cheap bags. Not a great ROI. You got like a 40 or 50% ROI, but they were decent and they were cheap. But man, their stuff was so hard because wherever they were at, it was just nothing but dirt, like 50% dirt, 50% crushed mica. And it was just, luckily they put in bigger size gold, so. Right. And I see YouTube is still testing out the rankings, the top fans thing I'm not a fan of, so. But yeah, it was a good bag of Paydirt. And if you want to try, and the whole thing too is one of the things I think people might not realize from my whole review on the Gold Barons half gram is that a really good ROI. It was a 76% ROI from a half gram bag of Paydirt. I mean, 5 years ago, you were lucky if you got a 76% from a 1 gram bag of Paydirt. So a half gram bag of Paydirt, it's probably one of the better ROIs from a half gram bag of Paydirt you can get. So, and it's difficult, so. I remember silver Paydirt. Yeah, silver Paydirt comes and goes. You'll see it every once in a while. You'll see copper Paydirt come and go. I'm a huge fan. I'm not a huge fan of silver ones. I like copper. I think natural copper nuggets are beautiful. I think natural silver is beautiful. I just hate panning it out. I just absolutely hate panning out silver. I've actually not done a review before because what was it, RJ's Paydirt? I did a bag of RJ's Paydirt and I was going to shoot a review on it. And it was just loaded with crystalline silver. And I was like, nope, I'm just going to throw that on my shelf. Do that by myself one day. JVM, thank you very much, brother. And I can't tell you, but thank you very much when you throw them on my videos. Thank you very much, brother. I try to comment when I see them on there. Sometimes I don't see them, though. But thank you very much for that, brother. I really appreciate it. Oh, and if one of my mods wants to drop the hidden link, I'd appreciate it. I don't know if I even have any mods working. I haven't seen my mods talking. There's HD. I was just thinking about you, brother. I was like, man, maybe I need to text HD. He might be busy at work or something. So, a couple more pieces of gold. Thank you very much, Weezen. I appreciate it. And again, remember tonight, hidden comment. Whoever gets picked wins. They're winning a gold-plated dime, a Miller Prospecting gold-plated dime tonight. This is what the winner is tonight. In the future, I will do hidden envelopes. I had to wait for envelopes to come in. They didn't come in until yesterday. So in the future, what I'll do is I will probably do like 20, 10 or 12 envelopes. I don't know the number yet. Where some will be gold-plated dimes, some will be the cards with a little bit of gold in there instead. And then you'll just pick a number, and there'll be different size pieces of gold. I don't know yet. I've got to make up the gold ones. I allot myself X amount of money for these live shows to do. For giveaways, I just have to go through the price and figure out. But this way, you'll pick a number. That's what envelope you'll get. The next person will pick an envelope. When we run out of all 12 of them or something, we'll start over again. I see the mods. Well, I'm panning, so it's harder for me to see the mods. I try to keep up with chat, but sometimes they scroll past and stuff moves past. Tom Hemsley, thank you very much for joining the show. Appreciate it. For whatever reason, hold on. The last, if you look at the link isn't correct. Let me check Nightbot. Like it's showing BRC, but it's not all underlined. So give me 1 second. Let me go check out Nightbot and see what it says. Let me just type it up there. Yeah, I think it was when you posted it up. For whatever reason, like if you look at my link, it shows the BRC at the end is underlined, but yours, well, now it is. I don't know. Let me see. Let me click it. Yeah. All right. Works for me. Maybe you're just broken, Weezer. All right. If somebody can't get in, let me know. All right. There we go. Seems to be working. If you can't get in, Weezen, let me know. All right, we got to pan up a little bit quicker. Like I said, tonight I have to do a short show. Every other Tuesday, as I have my kids, the new summer schedule. And since my daughter is no longer here, I don't have the use of her car, or I can't use her as my chauffeur for my son. So I have to go pick up my son. Weez probably has to restart. Yeah. Weez needs to restart everything. No, but remember, if you're a Patreon member, at some point in this panning, I will have the next nugget for the gold guessing contest. It will be somewhere in this material. So here we're just going to keep adding some. Obviously it'll be in the. Oh, you can kind of see. You see something peeking out there? I see something. PA wins. Well, I'm going to be doing every week. So every single Tuesday we'll be giving away either a gold-plated dime or a little bit of Miller Prospecting Gold. So you have lots of chances to win. If you become a Patreon member, you automatically get one of these sent to you just for being a Patreon member. So, you know, if your luck sucks, just join my Patreon. It's actually a losing proposition for me. Patreon, $5 minimum. It cost me about $5 to make that and send it out. So it's a losing I don't make any money, but I don't really lose any money either. So if your luck sucks and you end up not wanting one after a while, just join my Patreon for a month or two, maybe closer to 2. So you support the channel a little too. Hey, Gregory, how's it going? And thank you very much for that. Yeah, if anyone wants to check out Gold Baron or any of the channels here, obviously there's a lot of people here that have channels. Make sure you subscribe to everybody. And one person I want to give a huge shout out that if you are not a subscriber to, make sure you subscribe to, and that's Yukon Alley. I'm just amazed that she does not have more subscribers, considering her videos are getting 45, 50,000 views every single week. And she's just killing it with her new videos. So if for some reason you're not subscribed to Yukon Alley, go subscribe, tell her I sent you, and subscribe to her. She definitely needs a ton more subscribers so she can keep sharing her story. She has probably some of my favorite Paydirt in the whole wide world when she has it in stock. Which, by the way, next Tuesday we will be going through a 5-gram bag from Yukon Alley next week. So I wanted to give her a shout out. I was talking to her last Saturday. Oh, look at that. Got something in there. Something in the pan. That's how I got my dime. Yeah. It's the easiest way to get the dime is just support the channel on Patreon for a month or two. So, oh, you can hear it in there. I will never, that sound will be ingrained in me for life. The first time I was panning, and the material was like about this, it was all mostly sand, nothing really big or heavy. That first time I heard a nugget at the bottom of the pan just moving around, and I was thinking, oh, that's a big old rock in there, and I moved it, and it ended up being, I think, a 1 point something gram nugget, and that was from Dirt Hog. It was from Dirt Hog out of Canada. It was Dirt Hog's Paydirt. I think it was I want to say it was their 3-gram bag. Or no, they don't have a guarantee. It was like their middle priced bag. It was their middle priced bag, but it was a bonus bag. So there we go. Nice little nugget. So this is going to be the nugget. We're going to show it a whole bunch tonight. It has a lot of quartz in it. I'll try and show some good pictures of it, but let's move it into the other pan for right now. Here, we'll do a drop test for you too. See, it was because of things like this that I didn't want to do my heart one, my quartz heart one with my daughter. No. Oh no, got my tablet wet again. Yeah, but I'll show some pictures of it later on. And I mean, we'll post it, put it next to a gold-plated dime in a little bit once we're done panning, so you can see it. And there's just some rocks. I'm gonna show once we get to the finishing pan. I'll put it next to a dime and stuff like that. So if you're a Patreon member joining my live shows, especially the what is it? I guess so. It'll be the first the first Tuesday gold panning fever of the month. That's when I will be doing the nuggets every time. So if you're a Patreon member, this is the one show you always want to catch. The first week after the Patreon live. So I'm guessing it's like the second. Yeah. We'll be curious how much quartz is in it. Well, we'll never know because I'm not going to do a specific gravity test on it. And I will say one of the reasons I got this nugget was because originally when I bought it, I thought it was kind of heart-shaped until I actually came in. I mean, I still think it's kind of heart-shaped. It looks more like an anatomically correct heart more. But, you know, originally when I saw this, it was a really good deal. I got this nugget for, I think, like 85% of spot when I bought it. I won't tell you the website because I don't know if they still carry their, their sold stock. Some sellers keep their sold stuff up there. But they had a pricing error with their system. So when gold spot went up, it went down. So I ended up getting that for about 85% of spot, which is really good. And gold has gone up since then a whole bunch. So originally I got it because I thought it was heart-shaped in the picture. They didn't have a very good picture of it. And I still think it's kind of heart-shaped, you know, which is why I've kept it. No, that was not in your Paydirt. I did mention earlier in the video, I don't know if you got it, I added that into the Paydirt. So this is just a 1 gram bag. Yes, this was not from Gold Baron. This was just here, we're just going to dump it all in there. Well, that's a lot. Oh, well. This was just a 1 gram bag. I took that nugget out of my kids' personal collection. I robbed my kids for tonight's show, so. Yes, this was not from the Gold Baron. Anyone that's coming in there, this nugget was just from me adding it in there. So don't go buying. Well, I mean, you could go buy some Gold Baron 1 gram bags of Paydirt. I think you'll be happy with it. You just won't find that nugget in there or a nugget that size in there. Definitely too much material in this pan, but oh well. Maybe I'll miss something. It'll go in the Tuesday tailings. No. Yeah, I will say another thing about the iron death bag. Originally, when I started shooting the iron death bag, my thoughts were, when I went into it, I was only going to pan it one time, and that whatever was left in here, like I mean, in my head, I was thinking I was going to probably recover 0.35 to 0.4. If it was as difficult as the description made me believe it was. And I was like, oh, that'll be a whole bunch to add to the Tuesday tailings pile. You know, that's a good, 1/10 of a gram from just one bag. But then the description made me think, I was like, well, because it's got all the iron stuff in it, I don't want to ruin somebody's sink or something like that, because I do know a lot of people pan in their sinks and things like that. I was like, well, I can't put it in the Tuesday tailing. So I'm kind of glad that I think I recovered 99% of the gold. So now it's just a whole bunch of dirt that will eventually fill my sinkhole in my backyard. I'm sorry about that, Gold Baron. Yeah, this is definitely something added. It was pulled out of my my kid's lockbox. So, hey, April Davis, thank you for joining the show. I appreciate it, even if late. If one of my mods wants to drop the hidden link for April, I appreciate it. I don't see none of my top fans posting. I can't believe YouTube's trying. It doesn't even fix its own thing to work. No. And they've been bombarding me with questionnaires because I don't put automated ads on my live shows. They're like, oh, why don't you put automated ads? You could be making a lot of money. This is how much you'd have made if you'd put automated ads on there. I'm like, yeah, right. You just want me to put ads on here. I'm like, I'm not putting ads. I did see. So YouTube came out with, what was it, Friday? I want to say Friday. YouTube did a major update Friday and Saturday for ad blockers. They patched a couple loopholes that ad blockers were using. So I do know that YouTube is furiously working on trying to block ad blockers. So that might be it. So, which is another reason why during my live shows I don't do ads, because I know most people put ad blockers, I still have my Etsy picker. Yeah, unfortunately, gold tends to like run through my fingers like sand. I get gold in, gold goes out. Um, I don't have, what was it, up until I think I rebuilt this studio during COVID. So, you know, probably 3 years now that I've started collecting just some Paydirts. And those are just Paydirts that you can't buy anymore, or they're special Paydirts. But yeah, most of the gold runs through my fingers, out my fingers. So I like I said, I do save some heart-shaped nuggets for my kids. They go in a safe. Each of my kids has a little lockbox and a couple other little things I throw in there. Like I said, I got some French coins off of Whatnot. I have two that I don't know why. I was waiting for Mike on Whatnot and saw some French coins. I was like, woo, my French heritage. I will get them some nuggets and coins and things. And, so those will go in the lockbox, even though they weren't worth it. I mean, I only paid like $25 for each of them. So they're not, I just think they're cool stuff. It's not about the value of an inheritance. It's about how much stuff you get. So the bigger the pile, the more stuff they have to go through and be like, ooh, this is so cool. Spend 2 hours researching it. It's worth $20. Dad gypped me. But they had 2 hours of excitement. They thought it might be worth a whole bunch. One of the things I follow on Reddit is called What's This Worth? And I just love that because it's a lot of times it is, sometimes it's things people find at thrift stores and stuff. But you'll see the ones where inheritance ones were like, oh, I just inherited this. What's it worth? What's it worth? And you're like, $10, dude. And you just know for like an hour while they were waiting for the answer, they thought they might have just hit the mother lode. So. Which one is uBlock? Yeah. See, I personally, I don't use ad blockers, so I probably should. But since, I make money off of YouTube, I kind of always like think to myself, well, I don't want to block, if I'm watching GNS's video or I'm watching Vendetta's or somebody else's, I'm like, well, let them make a penny off me. I don't mind, I will say it's getting, which is kind of crazy, the whole thing with YouTube and its ad blockers is, I don't think people would be upset with ads if they were short ads. Like if an ad popped up and 5 seconds later, you could click the, no ad. And then so for my videos, which are average about 15 minutes, if every 5 minutes there was a 5-second ad, it would tell, you can do an ad in 5 seconds. Look at Super Bowl ads. They can do ads super quick. If if after 5 seconds you could click the pass, it'd pay 1/10 of a penny or whatever it is, 100th of a penny. People wouldn't get upset. They wouldn't have ad blockers. The problem is now, like YouTube, we were watching a YouTube video with my kids last night. We weren't signed in, so that's why I couldn't even have used ad blocker if I wanted. But it was a 3-minute ad before you could hit the skip button. And that was to skip the last 3 minutes. It's like, how is that, who wants to watch a 3-minute ad? Nobody. They're either going to change the station. It's the whole reason that people left public access TV and stopped watching channel 4 and 6 and 8 and went to cable. It's because nobody wanted to watch 3 minutes worth of ads. So it's absolutely crazy that YouTube, for whatever reason, cannot figure out that people would not use ad blockers if there was 1 5-second ad, It's just they go crazy and they want to keep getting more and more money out of you. And then the whole thing is they'll say, oh, if we make the ad 3 minutes, we'll make, twice as much money. But then they get twice as many people using ad blocker, so they make the exact same amount of money. So then they're like, oh, then they hire somebody to try and counter the ad blocker, and now they've made less money if they would have just left the ads alone. It's all just nonsense craziness. Funny story is me and my son were watching a video one time, and I was kind of on my phone answering emails and stuff like that. And I hear the talking in the background. So I'm thinking it's still the YouTube video. And my son's like, are you going to watch this whole ad? And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, it's 3 hours. It was a 3-hour ad. I'm like, what the junk? It was literally, it could have been an Avengers movie. A Marvel movie is barely 3 hours. And they had a 3-hour ad. I was like, what the junk? And it was only like a 15-minute video. And I was just like, what is going on with this people? That's it, Gold. I mean, like I said, it's just amazing to me. I just not watching and keep me. It's just amazing to me. Like I will do that. I watch videos, so I love watching when my kids are here and we're just kind of waiting while I'm cooking or something. I love watching videos about Japanese cooking. One of these days I'm going to teach myself how to make a ton of these really cool Japanese dishes when I can afford, like, when it's not my kids around, so I can just play, and if the food sucks, it's okay, but I can't do that now because if the food sucks, I got to remake a new dinner for my kids. But I will watch the shows, and as soon as I get a commercial that's really long that I can't skip, I just go back and watch a different video. I'm like, okay, let me just stop this one. I'll watch half of it and then super ad. And then it's just like that creator now isn't going to make any more money because they just convinced me to watch somebody else's video now. And I'll watch it halfway through until it's a super long video. They don't seem to understand that 90% of the time people that watch YouTube, it's background. You just want to watch it for background. And you don't mind a short commercial. Like if it's a 15-second, 30-second commercial, you'll just, okay, that's fine. Because it's just background noise. But then as soon as they start putting a 3-minute ad about Geico insurance or, the Emu insurance or something else, nobody's going to want to watch it. They're all going to put ad blockers on. They're all going to skip. So, all right. So that's the 1 gram of gold that I was guaranteed from Gold Baron Paydirt. And this is what I assumed, and I still think it is heart-shaped. I still think it is kind of heart-shaped. Not the perfect heart. Maybe it's a dragon heart. We'll call it the dragon heart nugget. So that's it. Now, I will have pictures. So when I do the gold casting contest this Saturday, that video will post this Saturday, I will have more pictures of this nugget. But you get a sneak preview. You can start, trying to calculate how big it is and stuff like that. But that's it. This is 1 gram of gold. It should be a gram of gold. We'll just say 1 gram exactly. So that's a gram of gold. That's the nugget. That's a gold-plated dime. And if you find the hidden link that one of my mods, I'm sure we'll post any second now, you can also get a chance to win a Miller Prospecting gold-plated dime tonight. You just have to stay and make sure you post something in the live show. I think a dragon's butt. I'd watch a 3-hour Miller Prospecting. I don't know about that. I will say your video originally, when I shot your video, now I'm not talking about fast forwarding because I always fast forward the panning. And the panning was, I think just the panning section for that one section of panning was, I think, 48 minutes. That's just getting rid of the blondes was 48 minutes. So I had to speed that up to whatever it was, a minute. And usually I don't speed up panning that much. But originally when I edited that video, the Iron Death video, it was a 19-minute video. I had to go back and re-listen to the whole thing, see if I repeated myself twice, which I did. I do tend to repeat myself a lot of times, the same things over and over in a video. So I had to go back, figure out which one I could edit out, because sometimes I was just talking like this and just kept talking and would keep talking. You can't edit those. You have to wait for the ones that have pauses. It's like, okay, this one had a pause. I could edit it out. So I think I got the video down to, what was it, like 15 minutes? 14 something, or maybe it's 16. But I ended up having to cut out, I had to shorten the video. If normally I do 8 times speed on the panning, I had to make that one 20 times just to get it down to having like a 16-minute video as opposed to a 25-minute video. So well, there we go. Let's flip this over so you can see it on the other side too. So I'm still saying it's heart-shaped. My kids are going to think I'm crazy when one of these days they're like open up their thing and they're like, oh, why are these? Because I name them all. They're all called heart. Like I have the other one I showed you earlier in the show was called the quartz heart. This one I'm going to call the dragon heart. So they're going to be like, Dad doesn't know what heart looks like. But all right, it is ugly mug time. Well, I finished much sooner than I thought. It's one of the problems when I'm doing these shows and I have a time limit. I will see things are going like too slowly, and I'll say, oh, let's speed up. And then the next thing I know, I've sped up too much. Hey, Autism Magnet Mary Fishing. Autism Magnet Fishing Mary. How are you? Yes, that is quartz and gold. Now, again, this is just a sampler. You can't even guess now, right now. But Saturday, I will have the video out, and you will be able to guess on Patreon for the gold guessing contest. And again, you can be a free Patreon member and guess, and you can win stuff. Let's shrink down the panning cam. But there will be pictures. I did take some better pictures so you can see the quartz in it. I took 4 different angled pictures for it so you can see the quartz. So you can see how much is in there, how much quartz. And, you know, like Mike on Whatnot loves to say all the time on his live shows is gold is 9 times heavier. So, you know, it's a nice one. So I like the ones with quartz. I really like, I'm not a huge fan of paying extra for quartz. But that is one good thing about gold on quartz is that you know the quartz really doesn't weigh that much, you know, total weight. Unless it's a massive piece of quartz with just a little bitty speck of gold on it. But all right, let me open up my chat again. Crash, how's it going? Thank you for joining the show. Alan Curie, what's up, brother? How's it going, my friend? How have you been doing? Yes, the total weight for this nugget. Yeah, it's going to be the total weight for this nugget. And again, it's not until this Saturday. This Saturday at 6 p.m. Central Time, I will drop the gold guessing contest. I don't even know what the prizes are yet for the gold guessing contest. So I've got to work on the prizes this week. I'm trying to find some 2nd and 3rd place prizes and things like that. I have some stickers for a sticker pack. I might throw in a copper bar, or I do have... this copper eagle. I'll probably throw that in as a 2nd place or 3rd place prize. What is it? 4.7 ounces. So I've got the Paydirts. I have to make up the bags of Paydirt or get the gold ready for the Paydirt. So I've got to do a few things this week before the Saturday. But Saturday, we'll have the contest up. Groovy Gold Hunter, how much? I talk so much I can only get mine down to 30 minutes of video. I'm up film. Yeah, I will tell you when I first. I mean, you can. I mean, I would prefer if you didn't go watch my old videos because they're, you know, cringe. But my original videos, if you just click, you know, you just scroll to my oldest video first, you'll see my average video length was, I think, like 35 minutes when I first started. Because I would talk and talk and just talk and talk. And almost 90% of all my comments, and this was before people really had a lot of YouTube channels. I think it was just me and one other person doing, or me and 2 other people. Me, Wayne Schmidt, and there was somebody else that was doing Paydirt reviews. We were the only ones. So 90% of my comments were, dude, you talk too much. So then I just started like, okay, let me finesse and see what I can edit out and do this and do this. So, and I keep a cheat sheet. So I will see. So I have a cheat sheet that I keep right by my microphone because a lot of my stuff moves around. So I keep a cheat sheet and I move it when I'm shooting in different stations. Just tell me, like, stay on this focus, say this and this and this and this. So it keeps me focused to say what I want. Because a lot of times I will go off on a tangent and start like, it's funny. So speaking of, when I was shooting the Iron Death video, usually I don't talk during my panning. And in this video, the Iron Death, I do talk a little bit, telling people what I was going to do and what I wasn't. One of the things in the Iron Death thing is it says that it will rust your sink, everything it touches. Well, people might not know this, but if you put some metal or something like that in a gold pan, especially these finishing pans that I use, and you leave it and you let it sit, it will rust. And then you will get these rust spots that you cannot get out of the pan. So I spent a good 10 minutes talking in that video about how I had to dig out an old pan that I'd left some metal in one time. So it had a whole bunch of rust spots on it already that I couldn't use that pan for. Just so I could use it for the Iron Death bag of Paydirt in case I left it sitting there overnight. Like if the Paydirt took too long and it got any rust in the pan, it would only ruin the pan that already had rust in it. Because these you can't get anymore. And I'm down to my last like 8 or 9 of these pans. And since you can't get them anymore, I want to keep them. So I went off on a tangent for 10 minutes talking about my pan and rust and this and that. And I edited that out. I was like, oh, that's an easy 10 minutes to edit out. Yeah. Yeah, one of my really good buddies is on a cruise. So, but he's in a European cruise for like 2 weeks. So, yeah. Here, let me drop. Oh my. Tearing my stuff up over here. But yeah, I have a hard time sometimes too, where I'll say things like, I think even in this video in the Gold Baron Paydirt, this one was really hard, where I kept going off on the same tangents each time about how, like the ending part, where after I've done my little price sheet and I tell everyone the ROI on that, I think I said the exact same things like 10 times. I had to keep editing out because I kept wanting to say that I was, left disappointed. It's still hard Paydirt, but it was just, comparable. Cockatoo Birdman Bill, how's it going? Your kids don't know what a heart looks like. I mean, like I said, you can't really, we'll see if I can get a better one from this one. But this is the original one I was going to do. Let me see if I can get it right on. That is a heart-shaped nugget. It's not going to focus, but no. But like I said, when I bought that one, they only had one picture of it. And I was kind of like, just the angle of it was kind of like from my top view. So I was like, it looks like a heart. So it's the heart-shaped dish. But make sure I just posted the hidden link. Make sure you go post a comment. Tonight, we're just giving away a Miller Prospecting gold-plated dime on one of my fancy new cards I had made, which I probably can't get anymore because tariffs in China are too much money. They just doubled the price of these cards. So using these, I think I have 150 of them made up. So we'll go through those. So if you want to win that tonight. And again, as always, YouTube and its affiliates have nothing to do with this giveaway. And to win it, if I pull your name, you must post something in the live chat. So yeah, I have a metal pan somewhere around here. I have my copper one here. I have this metal one, East Wing metal one here that is not rusty, which I don't know why it just sits out. But I have another metal one somewhere that I've been meaning to throw in my fire pit to burn, and it is just poop rust. So I've got to sand it a little bit, get rid of the rust out of it, and then throw it in a fire pit to smoke it out. So hey, Rich Peterson, how's it going? Thank you for joining the show. I've got 4 metal pans, all different sizes from 10 inch to 20 inch. Yeah, I have a couple. I have a whole bunch. Like I said, I have, I've got this metal pan. I've got a whole bunch of metal pans too. I've been trying, the copper pans are my actual favorite pans. I absolutely just love the way the copper pans look. This is, it's going to be bright and shiny, but this is one of my favorite metal pans. I love copper pans. These things are just impossible to find. So, and unfortunately, mine has a big, huge dent in it because it fell off my shelf one day and just landed smack dab on one of the ends. But it is, and I really like the copper pans because they're copper. They're pretty easy. They have really good riffles in them. So I've been trying to find another one so I can start trying to see if I could use a copper pan for my finishing. But I love my copper pan. It's one of my favorite pans. I remember when my friend John won one of your done. Well, maybe tonight's your night. So, and like I said, in the future, what I'm going to do is, because I do have some of these with a little bit of gold in there instead, we'll start running with envelopes where there'll be 12 hidden, door number 1, door number 2 type thing. So I want to make a die to stamp out copper pans. Yeah, I love copper pans. I think copper pans are just the absolute coolest looking things. I don't know how great they would be, but I don't want to throw that one in a fire pit to, heat it up and suit it up. So I've been trying to find another one, and just every time I see a site that has it listed, they're just non-existent. They just are out of stock. So what does he say about smoking out? If the way to season a metal pan, as I've always been told, is you just throw it in a fire pit and all the soot will coat it. So it kind of smokes it and turns the pan black. So your gold pan will, your metal gold pan will be actually black. So it makes it easier to see the gold. So Oh, my son's texting me from the park. 3D pans are still cool. I do like 3D pans if they're made right. Julie posted a video a while back about 3D pans where if they print the pans wrong, if on the bottom, if they print it, if the rows are too close together or not close enough together, it'll actually trap gold in them. So you could think you're finished panning, and if you look, it'll have all those types of micro gold stuck in them. So I do like the fact that just you can try out different things. That's one of the great things about 3D pans is you can try out just different patterns and see, will this work? Will that work? So. Yeah, like Gold Baron's a great seller. I think he's like I said, the vast majority of new sellers over the last 4 or 5 years have all been really good sellers. It used to be when gold Paydirt kind of took off after the Gold Rush show, 90% of the people who were opening up and selling Paydirt were people who were posting on eBay with, bags that had no gold. They would go and copy gold in Paydirt's description, put it on their website or on their description for eBay, and it was just all smoke and mirrors, and you weren't getting good Paydirt. So over the last couple of years, most of Paydirt sellers, because nobody really wants to invest. That's one of the good things is nobody really wants to invest anymore to sell crappy Paydirt on a website because they know someone like me or any of the other Groovy Gold Hunter or, Dig Daddy or any of these other channels will come around and review them. And once they get a bad review, their website's essentially shut down. And they don't have a ton of money to put ads on YouTube or ads on Google. So where's that at, Ed? Send me the link later, Ed. Then you'll make me spend $47. That's expensive. $47. I think I paid for this copper pan. I think I paid $20 for it. And then it had free shipping because I bought some other stuff with it too. So, but yeah, so Paydirt sellers are getting much better. New ones that are opening are really, really good, which I really like. Most of the new sellers, and I have a couple bookmarked. I think, Brad's Buckets. That's one of my newest. He's coming up. Not next month, because next month is all going to be gold nugget sales. As you can see, I have a ton of gold nugget sales on my shelf here. I have a ton of gold nugget sales behind me. This is all giveaway stuff. These are all Paydirts that Mike at Gold Nugget Sales sent me to give away. So I have a lot of gold nugget sale stuff, but a lot of the sites is just absolutely, yeah, Brad's Bucket is absolutely awesome. So I haven't reviewed him yet, but, is it Black Cat Mining? Okay, well, Black Cat Mining was out of stock last time I looked. I look at him about every 3 months, but I have to look. You have to watch out with Black Cat sometimes. They'll say they're in stock, then when you go to check out, it'll say not. But yeah, this is where I originally bought this one from, was from Black Cat. So they used to have the little copper pans too. I got one from them. Thank you very much, Mega Silver Stacker. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you very much. And I agree, Crash. A huge shout out to everyone that's served. But yeah, it's so great to see that there's so many good Paydirt sellers that are opening, that are doing good, and they're good. And that's why I like Gold Baron. There's some more that come out that I haven't reviewed yet. Like I said, in July. So this month I have what other videos do I have coming out this month? I don't even remember what videos I have coming out this month. I have where to sell gold. I've been getting so many people where to sell gold. I haven't updated that video since I think 2022. Gold is really good now, so price is up there. So I have a where to sell gold video coming out this month, and then a Flower Gold Wizard video coming out as well. And then next month, a lot of gold nugget sale stuff and a lot of giveaways. So next month, you definitely want to watch my videos because I'm probably going to put in hints in the videos on how you can win these bags of Paydirt. It won't just be a free giveaway. You'll have to know a little bit of information to guess and get them. It won't be a guessing contest or anything. You have to say a phrase word or a certain word when you guess in the nightly comments, in the hidden comments. And then after that, we've got a whole bunch of new sellers. I think till the end of the year, I have, 6 new sellers to do reviews on. So there's a couple of new sellers out there. There's some other new sellers that I don't have queued up that I haven't looked at just because I'm not 100% sure they're legit, or that their ROIs just aren't the best. So there have some other sellers, and I'm not saying they're horrible. They're not gold and Paydirt bad, but they might only be selling like quarter-gram bags of Paydirt or half grams with like 60% ROIs. But, if they don't keep track of their, you might get something good out of them. Oh, Mary. Carson Prospecting, what's up, brother? How you been doing? I have one of my buddy Mike Vendetta sent me a Paydirt. It's coming up soon. I think we're doing that in 2 weeks from when he was out hanging out with you. Lucky man. Yeah, the weather's gonna be horrible here this weekend too, which means that's what tomorrow I've got to cut grass, which absolutely sucks. I psych myself up for the weekend cutting grass, So, but I hate doing it when I have to do it in the middle of the week because cutting grass just, just ruins you for the day. And I might have to go do it at my house and then my daughter's house. So there's gonna be some half-cut grass, and just that looked good enough. So, but all right, let me go set everything up. Make sure we're all set up for. My cat must think it's feeding time or something. He must have heard nuggets or something. I don't know. He's in here just sitting around me. I don't know. He's waiting for something. But all right, let's go. Let me go get the link, make sure all the comments are going through. There we go. Got that. Make sure all the comments are going through. If I can remember how to do this on YouTube. They keep changing on how you get published comments and held comments. And all right, that's done. All right. What was this? What was the comment? I'm trying to see is Aaron Mack here. Because Aaron Mack, and I remembered, if you are here, Aaron Mack, let me see if you left a comment. I still need your your address, not your email address, your address. I need you to email me so I can send you the silver bar you want, the 1.6 ounce silver bar. Let me see, is Aaron Mack here? No, I don't think Aaron Mack is here today. Oh, maybe next time. Now that he won, he's like, I don't need to show up to the show anymore. But all right, there we go. Let's do this. Let's do the giveaway. Let's see. Swamp level will be at level 9 tomorrow. It was 300 women. He wouldn't watch. I'm not saying nothing about that. Trying to convince my wife to let me buy one of the Roomba style lawnmowers. If my property was bigger, I would definitely invest in it. I think those are great if you have a big enough property. But see, my property, unfortunately, has 0 fences, which would mean that I have to stake it out. And then me and one of my neighbors, we really don't have... my house is kind of at an angle, and my neighbor's house is kind of at a different angle. So they're like both like this, where they have a line in the middle, and neither one of us know. So generally, what I'll cut the grass, it might be this line. And when he cuts the grass, it might be on this line. And then when one of us cuts, the other one just cuts to that line. So if I had a Roomba, I'd have to go out and stake it and tell it where to go and stuff like that. But if I had a fenced-in yard, I would 100% have a Roomba just going around my backyard all the time. So I don't mind mowing when the weather's nice. Like, see, in the fall and spring and stuff like that, I like earlier this, when, even tomorrow it won't be so bad. I don't mind. I actually enjoy going outside and getting a little bit of sun on me and stuff like that. But once it hits like 98, 100 degrees, it's just wipes you out so bad. So, either you want to buy my silver or want to get rid of most of my coins. Oh, what kind of coins you got? Need a silver for Indiana poor. What kind of silver are you looking for, A3? Because I have some. I might have some silver. It's not pure silver though. I have some silver rings somewhere. Because originally I was going to send them to. I sent a whole bunch of rings to Vendetta a while back, 6 months ago or something like that. Because I was buying lots of stuff off of Goodwill, and one of them came with. I was buying it trying to get some gold, and came with a whole bunch of silver rings, and a whole bunch of them were bent and junk. They, you couldn't resell them, and I shipped those off to Vendetta so he can melt them down and make his quartz. But I had some other ones. I have to see if I still have them, but they're only like 99 silver. Allergic to water. Oh man, that sucks. Hmm. I don't think, and plus, I don't think he wants to buy silver. I think the whole thing is he was trying to win my silver. Mm. I don't know. Coins once I have a benzo bag of buffalo nickels. I have so many buffalo nickels from Culver prospecting, tons of pennies, lots of $50, and some silver coins and some silver bullion. You see, I've never been into coins too much other than dimes. I cannot get behind anything besides dimes. Dimes is the only thing I find any beauty in when it comes to even the non-silver ones. I think dimes are just, to me, are just the bee's knees of coins. Because I keep telling myself, I keep wanting to start a dime collection for my kids. I've done one before where we had the little books, but we kind of gave up on that one because a lot of the ones we were missing were too pricey. But I keep telling myself, man, I just need to, just something to do, but I never have time. Is just follow eBay and try and find, like an NGC, make a complete set of NGC Mercury dimes. $50 aren't bad. There's some nice ones. $50 aren't bad. I don't mind those. Some, Morgans. I really like Morgans, are nice, but just to me, dimes are the perfect ones. They're cheap enough. Most of them are cheap enough that you can afford them. They're small and look really great details for being so small. So I just love dimes, which is why I use dimes and not anything else, which is funny. Somebody, my mom sent me a while back. She sent me I think it's a 1/20th gold franc. She was like, oh, use this instead of your gold-plated dimes, French heritage, use this. But the problem is nobody knows what size it is. So I'm like, if I put a gold-plated dime next to some gold in a pan, everyone knows that's a dime. That's how much gold it is. Just like, down here, that gold nugget you see, that's next to a dime. So you can guess it. But I was like, nobody's going to know what this gold franc, how big it is. I just got in a half dime and a 20-cent dime this week for the collection. Well, there you go. That's awesome, brother. You can get in some good stuff in. Gold Marine Peace dollars are cheaper. Peace dollars are nice too. Peace dollars. So I won't say all, it just, to me, just the dimes have always been, the one that I'll do. Joe Murrow, thank you for joining the show. I appreciate it. And anyone else, if I miss you, I really appreciate you joining the show tonight. I really do. Merv Miller, how's it going? Thank you for joining the show. They cut too short. Oh, that's for the things. Yeah, I actually like to keep my grass kind of high. I know a lot of people, like my neighbor, he butchers up his grass, which I hate. Like he cuts his grass down to like nothing. Like he has it on the lowest settings. And I told him once before, I'm like, having it on the lowest setting means that weeds grow faster, because the weeds will grow faster than the grass will. Then the grass will die because they can't get the nutrients and everything else. So you end up with a yard with more weeds than grass. So I like to keep my grass at a nice healthy length and just cut it every single week, and sometimes twice a week if it starts to grow too fast, if it's raining and stuff. But on a border of our house, as you can see, it's just like packed with weeds, and weeds are slowly creeping onto my yard. So, and thank you for dropping the comments, because we're getting ready to do the giveaway. So here, we're going to shrink down. We got to say bye-bye to the gold. Again, here, let me see. Last show. This is the gold nugget that will be in the contest. This will be this Saturday. That'll be the gold nugget for the contest. Let me put it somewhere where it can dry. And that will what we be. So it's this Saturday again, gold contest. If you're a Patreon member, start thinking, calculating in your head, stuff like that. But here, let me get rid of the panning cam. And we will shrink down the ugly mug. And we'll pull a name. There we go. So, all right, let me make sure I'm on the right website, and I am. There we go. So good luck to everyone. This, again, is for a Miller Prospected gold-plated dime. If you win, you will have to email me so I know where to ship this to, and I'll ship it to you. I would ship it to you with a sticker, but unfortunately I ran out of stickers. So I'm out of stickers, and the company I ordered from, I don't know what they're doing. They must be like printing them one at a time, like some guy drawn with a sticker on there, because I ordered them a month ago, and they just now hit shipping. I don't know. I mean, it was a small run too, like 200, I don't know what they're doing. So, and they better be right too. I'm worried that they're jacked. So All right, let's see. Let's shrink down the ugly mug. Pick a winner. The gold-plated dime. But first, everyone's going to have to look at the best, most awesome website in the whole wide world, Miller Prospecting's website. Find my top 10 recommended sellers. All my last videos, all my live shows are on here. Every single video I have is stored on here. You can watch them. Well, they're stored on YouTube, but you can watch them here. I have all my live shows, some treasure hunting where you can get money from. If you want to sell some gold, you can email me. If you want to know what equipment I use, this is the shop button. That I couldn't think of anything else to call it, but that's where all the equipment I use is. Where I'll just show you. So this is all the equipment I use for my studio and scales and everything else like that, just in case you wanted to know that information. And then again, the last 100 reviews. Gold Baron Paydirt, 76.03% ROI. Really good ROI for a half-gram bag of Paydirt. And now, let's do comment picker. Fetch. Anything goes, no replies. Now again, if I pull your name, you must post something in live chat before the end of the show, or you lose your spot, and I'll just give away this dime or stick it in an envelope, whatever I'm doing next week. So make sure you post something in the live show. 44 comments. Pick a winner. Who's it going to be? Teo, Outdoor Adventures. Teo, you getting this. Congratulations. I will be sending this. I don't need your address, so I know your address. So congratulations. I'll be sending this to you. And you'll be getting another one too, because this month I'll be sending all my $79 tier members one of these as well with their bags of Paydirt. So congratulations. See if he's here. Are you still here? Imagination to Form. Thank you for joining the show. Appreciate it. All right. And now let's make everyone look at my ugly mug full size. Well, we wait for Teo to say hi. Say he's here. Oh no. Oh no. Is he not here? Did he run off? This is the one person that probably, because like I said, all my $79 tier members, I already set aside some for my $79 tier members to add to their bags of Paydirt for this month. Just because I have extra of these and I want all my $79 members to get something a little bit special. So even if he misses out, he's still getting one. But he's here. Right on. Thanks. He must be delayed. All right. So you'll get one in the envelope, and then you'll get one at the end of the month, too. So imagination. So like I said, so Saturday, future, next 2 weeks, this Saturday, I will have a video coming out, and it will be my gold guessing contest. And you don't have to be a Patreon member. Well, you don't have to be a paid Patreon member to win something. You can just be a regular free Patreon member. You can join as a free Patreon member. That's the only thing you can do is the gold guessing contest. You won't see any other content. It's all blocked behind a paywall. You have to be a paid member for that. But you can, and I will have a little bit of gold or something for my free members for the gold guessing contest. So whoever guesses the closest to this nugget on the gold guessing contest, even if you're a free Patreon member, you can win something. I try to make it so everyone can win a little something just by, jotting down their name on my Patreon page. If you become a Patreon paid member, then you get one of these for free. You get, Monday through Friday, you get my daily ROI report and things like that, as well as you support the channel. And everyone loves supporting this channel. But yeah, so we have that. And then next Tuesday, we're going to be panning out some Yukon Alley. Now this, I cannot give an ROI on because it is a 5-gram bag. And if anyone knows Yukon Alley, when she makes her bags of Paydirt, she adds in a tablespoon of her super cons. Yukon Alley, Allison, a great, absolutely wonderful person, added in, I think she said 5 to 10 tablespoons of super cons to this. So, she knew it was for me. She knew it was going to be for a live show. So it should be a really nice bag of Paydirt. It's going to be a great bag of Paydirt, even if I only get 5 grams out of it. So I'm going to be really curious. The super cons are usually pretty tough to pan through. So that's what we're going to be doing. And Allison said she's going to make the live show, but you never know. You never know. They're actually working on their mind still. So hopefully she can pop in a little bit. So make sure you subscribe to her so you won't be like, oh, hey, Allison, and then not be a subscriber of hers. So, let me try to keep up on chat. Super delay on my phone. Yeah, it happens to me. I do that all the time. Like where I will actually, even on my own stuff, I'll be watching. and I'll have it on my phone and it'll be delayed. Like when I used to do premieres, when I would do premieres, I would always be at my computer doing it and I'd have it up on my phone and it was like 10 seconds difference, 5 seconds difference. It used to drive me crazy. You know, it's a person who uses them. I did great with our 1 gram bag. Yeah, I absolutely love Allison's Paydirt. I wish I could get it more often. That's why I didn't use the secret shopper for this, because I knew I only had, you know, like 2 weeks to buy a bag of Paydirt from her before she was sold out. And it was just that time where I didn't have a lot of money from Patreon and I had to put something on a credit card. And, you know, I can't really put it on a credit card to a secret shopper. So I was just like, I'm just going to buy a 5 gram bag of hers to promote in the middle of the year. And that's what I told her. I was like, you know, it'll just to be promote you, to keep you, you know, because this was before she announced she was doing her weekly show, her weekly videos. So I was like, you know, that'll help keep Yukon Alley in everyone's head, you know, because I absolutely love Allison. I think she, not only is her mining career absolutely fabulous, but her Paydirt is some of the best you can get. So, Wrench, what's up, brother? How's it going, my brother, John? Wrenches, Repairs, and Prospecting. Howdy, Dylan and fam. Thank you for joining, popping in the show, even if for just a second, because we're getting ready to go. My son has been blowing up my phone about his skating. I had to check, because usually I just ignore his text or anybody's text when I'm on my show, but I had to make sure he didn't like, oh, I broke my leg, come get me now. Make sure he was all right. So, missed in Ohio. HD is missed everywhere. HD is such a great guy. You know, one of the absolute best. There's so many good people in this community. There's some people that pop in and pop out and pop in, but there's some diehards that have been here in this community since the very beginning that are just absolutely wonderful. So, and she's smoking, yeah. Well, she's married, so I'm not going to say anything like that. I don't want her husband to get mad at me. No. And her husband seems like a really nice guy. So, you know, they're both great. He's just not on camera. She's on camera. So, yeah. So, yeah, they're doing really well this year. So, but they've been obviously making a really good living. If you've seen their house, you know, they're chasing their dream and doing really good at it. And you cannot knock that. So, you know, you just have to be smart. You know, I used to talk to a guy a while back, and he was retired, and he was a gold miner in Alaska. And this was 7 or 8 years ago, right when I first started my channel. And he used to tell me he owned a gold mine in Alaska. And he told me he was near Kenai. He was near Dill. And that's how he found out, was because I did a review of Dill's Paydirt. And then Kenai's Paydirt, and then he started emailing me. We talked back and forth over email until he just disappeared. But he told me it was just the Paydirt, the gold miners. He said you could always tell the ones that were going to fail because they kept chasing. He was like, sometimes, you know, like if you're on a plot of land and you just keep chasing and chasing and trying to find the gold, he was like, there's just no gold there. You just can't find it. You know, you just need to say, I need to give up on this spot and go to somewhere where it's known gold, even if it's a lesser quantity. You know, and I thought that was great. And it was funny because that was one of the things with the Hoffmans on the Gold Rush show, is you would see them doing the same thing. Like they would just say, oh, I know there's a mammoth streak here, and to keep chasing something, and they would never find anything. Even though they would say like, oh, we have ground over here that'll produce, you know, an ounce a day, but we want this place over here where we think there's 50 ounces a day. And they would never find the 50 ounces. And they would do that for months and months and months when they could have went over here and got the ounce a day. You know, it was just... So, and Allison seem to be incredibly smart and, you know, keeping themselves small. They're not going out and buying billions of dollars of equipment saying if we buy 10 times more equipment, we'll get 10 times more gold, because that's not the way it works. So really great person. I really enjoy watching her shows, and I, you know, really love her Paydirt. So we might take our first gold baron paycheck in 2027. You know, Groovy Gold Hunter. Yeah, that's what I'm going to be panning out next Tuesday, is our 5 gram bag. I'm excited for it. It has been sitting on my shelf for a while now. So, and I've been wanting to do it. It just kept getting moved along. But, you know, I'm excited to do it. So I need the gold for my Patreon member. So I was like, okay, you know, we're going to have to do it this month. So, but all right, everybody, Saturday, gold guessing contest. This will be the nugget. There'll be lots of pictures. You can rewatch this video over and over and over. Just skip past the ugly mug parts and just get to the gold nugget. Saturday, gold guessing contest. Next Tuesday, Yukon Alley, 5 gram bag of Paydirt. It's going to be a longer show next week because I won't have my kids, so we can sit here and pan out her stuff for a while. So Yeah, Alan is a great guy too. He's just never on camera. Yeah. Yeah, he was the one that got her into it. But all right, everybody, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go pick up my son. I hope everyone has an absolutely great week, and I will see you all next Tuesday. Saturday, again, we'll have the gold guessing contest up on my Patreon. You don't need to be a paid Patreon member to guess. You can be a free member. We'll have something gift for you. We'll post up the prizes on Saturday. You'll see all that good stuff. So, and then next Tuesday, we'll talk about those prizes and things, and we're going to pan out a whole bunch of Yukon Alley's Paydirt. But I'm out of here. Have a great week, everyone, and hopefully everyone finds a lot of gold, because gold